Emma cradled the shoes in her hands, turning them over to admire the craftsmanship. The leather felt supple, almost alive, and the colors seemed to shimmer as if infused with magic. Each stitch told a story, a testament to the artisan's dedication. She could envision how they'd elevate her wardrobe, transforming simple outfits into fashionable statements. A siren call of excitement and curiosity tugged at her as she imagined the roads they would travel together, the adventures yet to unfold. As she approached the counter to make her purchase, she noticed a strange sensation, as if the air crackled around her, brimming with an unseen energy. The old cashier, a woman with silver hair pulled back into a neat bun, looked up and smiled knowingly. It was a comforting smile, but there was something else lurking beneath it, an awareness, perhaps, of the shoes that felt eerily alive in Emma's grasp. "They have quite a history, you know," the cashier said, her voice low, drawing Emma's attention. "Those shoes were made by a craftsman who believed each pair holds a piece of its creator's spirit. They're not just for walking. They can lead you places." The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Emma chuckled nervously, attributing it to the whimsical atmosphere of the quaint shop. "They'll take you on a journey," the woman continued, her gaze penetrating, unsettling in its intensity. Emma's heart raced at the thought of embarking on an adventure, but laughter bubbled up inside her, dismissing it as mere folklore. After all, what could a pair of shoes possibly do? After completing her purchase, she left the store, clutching the bag as if it contained buried treasure. The sun bathed the neighborhood in golden light, illuminating her path as she slipped the shoes onto her feet. A rush of exhilaration coursed through her. They fit perfectly, as if molded just for her. It felt as if they had been waiting for her all along. She strolled toward the park, each step sending a ripple of joy through her body. The shoes seemed to adjust to her rhythm, almost encouraging her to walk faster, to embrace the excitement of the day. As she crossed the threshold into the park, an inexplicable sense of wonder enveloped her. The world around her vibrated with a new intensity. The laughter of children, the rustle of leaves in the breeze, the vibrant hues of flowers in bloom. But then, a strange sensation washed over her, an inexplicable heaviness at the pit of her stomach. It was as if the shoes were urging her to venture deeper into the park, to stray from her usual path. Emma hesitated, a small voice in her head warning her to tread carefully, but the thrill of the unknown drowned out her worries. With each step deeper into the park, the vibrant surroundings seemed to blur, colors mixing into a kaleidoscope that pulled her further into the unfolding tale. She felt exhilarated, unaware that with each stride, she was stepping not just into the unknown, but into a realm that twisted the boundaries of reality. Little did she know, every choice she made in those enchanted shoes would imprint upon her fate, leading her toward an arrival she couldn't fully comprehend. As Emma navigated through the familiar streets of her small town, the new shoes felt like a secret treasure, an irresistible jewel that shimmered with possibility. Each step was buoyant, as if the very pavement beneath her acknowledged her transformation. She felt light and unencumbered, the weight of her usual worries suspended in the air behind her, left behind like forgotten autumn leaves. The shadows of her past insecurities flickered in her mind, barely able to keep pace with the vibrant surge of confidence that beckoned her forward. Beneath the soft light of her office, the shoes continued to do their magic. Emma's colleagues, who rarely acknowledged her presence beyond polite greetings, seemed to radiate newfound warmth. Laughter and chatter filled the room, weaving a tapestry of camaraderie, and she found herself at the center of it all. Each compliment she received felt like a sprinkle of fairy dust, igniting the long-dormant spark within her. Conversations flowed easily from her lips, animated and rich with enthusiasm, and she reveled in the attention. However, amid this blossoming, a nagging thought kept clawing at the corner of her mind. a flicker of doubt that reminded her that not all enchantments are free. The vibrant colors swirling around her began to hum a different tune. What was the source of this intoxicating allure? Was it merely the shoes, or something more profound that lay deeper within their mysterious fabric? Emma tried to shake off the thought, burying it beneath the comforting warmth of her newfound confidence. Yet, as the hours wore on, the unease nagged relentlessly, a persistent whisper reminding her to tread carefully. Later that evening, as she sat on her bed, her shoes gleaming in the soft glow of her bedside lamp, Emma's heart fluttered with anticipation and trepidation. She could not disregard the sense that these shoes were not just an extension of her personality, but instruments of a delicate balance she'd yet to comprehend. With every twinkle of the shoe's embellishments, she perceived something shimmering beneath the surface, a fleeting glimpse of enchantment that felt both exhilarating and dangerous. That night, the dreams that swept her away were electrified by the shoes. They danced with her, twisting and twirling in an ethereal ballet, as if to welcome her into a world woven from starlit threads and shimmering moonbeams. In this dreamscape, Emma experienced the manifestations of her desires: adventure, creativity, and full-bodied laughter. Yet, within the kaleidoscope of enchantment, a shadowy figure lingered at the edge of her dreams, watching with a knowing gaze. She could feel it, a palpable sense of awareness that cautioned against unbridled ambition. As dawn broke, the dreams faded, yet the shadow remained, a reminder of the delicate line she tread. Emma smiled with renewed determination as she stepped into the day, her heart a mix of elation and uncertainty. With the shoes guiding her steps, she felt capable of anything, but a deeper understanding cultivated in her soul told her that magic often entwined itself with challenges, and every choice she made would resonate far beyond that single transformative day. As the days turned into weeks, Emma discovered an unexpected side to the shoes that had enthralled her from the very beginning. Their vibrant sheen reflected not only her newfound confidence, but also the whispers of envy and disapproval that now trailed her like a shadow. Wherever she went, heads turned, and admiration mingled with suspicion, creating an atmosphere thick with apprehension. At first, she reveled in the attention, each compliment wrapping around her in a luscious embrace, but soon, she noticed the darker spectrum of human emotions that her choice incited. It began with a chance encounter in a bustling cafe where a group of acquaintances had gathered. As Emma sipped her coffee, her shoes glimmering beneath the table, she caught snippets of their conversation. Words like dangerous and unsettling flitted into her ears. Delicate, yet unmistakable. She instinctively straightened her back, a fierce loyalty igniting within her. How could they not see the shoes for what they truly were? An expression of freedom, of self. She dismissed their words, brushing her sleek hair behind her ear, and smiled brightly as if to drown out the dissonance. But the tide of unease grew stronger, ever more insistent. Late at night, when the hushed silence of her room enveloped her, those whispers morphed into haunting visions of her life unraveling. One persistent thought gnawed at her edges. Was there indeed a cost to this exquisite beauty? Emma rolled over, trying to shake off the notion, yet the pulse of doubt reverberated in her mind, heavy and ominous like an impending storm. Each night was a tug-of-war between the thrill of her choices and the anxiety that now dwelled within her. Her reflection in the mirror once brought her joy, but now it often left her unsettled. Staring at the vibrant shoes perched neatly by her side, she began to perceive them not just as a fashionable accessory, but as an entity steeped in power, one that demanded more than she was willing to give. With every confident stride into the world, she couldn't help but feel a creeping awareness that perhaps those around her knew something she did not. The allure of admiration was beginning to feel inseparable from a sinister undertow, one that threatened to engulf her in darkness should she falter. Emma's friendships shifted palpably as well. Some grew more supportive, enveloping her in a cocoon of affirmations, while others began to pull away, their laughter tinged with something she couldn't quite name. Fear, perhaps, or resentment. She felt like a marionette, set upon a stage, each string expertly controlled by the unseen hand of the shoes that dictated her new reality. Even her simplest of conversations felt laden, as if the shoes had woven themselves into the fabric of her identity, leaving her to navigate a precarious balance between freedom and confinement. Haunted by the spectral murmurings of whispers, Emma grew increasingly restless. The shoes, once celebrated as her greatest allies, began casting longer shadows, the vibrant colors dulling in her mind's eye. What had she traded for all this beauty? A question begged to be answered, and somewhere deep inside, Emma could feel the clock ticking down to an inevitable confrontation. Emma stepped away from the mirror, her heart racing as a tumultuous swirl of emotions washed over her. She reached for the intricate lace of the shoes that now lay temptingly on the floor, glimmering softly in the pale moonlight like distant stars begging her to reclaim them. With every fiber of her being, she felt the gravitational pull of their enchantment, drawing her toward a fate she was increasingly uncertain of. There was a time when she could lace up a pair of shoes without a thought, anchoring her in the comfort of her own skin. But now, the very act of donning them felt like slipping into a masquerade, her true self morphing into something unrecognizable. As moonbeams filtered through the window, they illuminated the room, revealing remnants of her former life scattered in the corners. Photographs, cherished mementos of laughter, and moments untainted by ambition. Those memories tugged at her, whispering echoes of who she used to be before the shoes had woven a spell around her spirit. Perfect strangers praised her newfound confidence, but Emma felt a relentless ache in her chest, a chasm that gaped wider with each compliment received. Could this fascination with appearances overshadow the essence of her identity? She sank onto the edge of her bed, allowing her gaze to drift downwards. The shoes appeared like sirens, alluring yet frightening in their beauty. She had sacrificed authenticity on the altar of panache, allowing an illusion of empowerment to eclipse her true strength. In her desire to embrace the extraordinary, she had unwittingly chipped away at her self-worth, manufacturing an identity dictated by glamour rather than grounded in her values. Each time she stepped into the shoes, she felt empowered briefly. However, that empowerment always came with a sense of danger vibrating beneath the surface. A trip down memory lane unfolded in her mind, reminding her of the moments that had nurtured her spirit. The laughter shared with friends, the quiet afternoons curled up with a book, and the comforting embrace of her family. These were the truths she had sidelined, all for the intense thrill of becoming someone she thought she should be. Emma took a deep breath, her fingers tracing the intricate patterns of the shoes as if trying to debunk their sorcery. It was past time to face the storm brewing inside her, the truth that was as raw as it was liberating. What would it mean to set aside the allure of the shoes? Would resilience rise from the ashes of this internal battle, revealing a stronger version of herself? The moon's silver glow flickered in her eyes, igniting a flicker of hope within the shadows of doubt. Emma understood that the night was a canvas, and she, the artist of her fate. The clarity of her existence lay not in wearing her desires, but in shedding the layers that had masked her true self all along. Against the backdrop of this tentative realization, she felt a retreat into the past melt away as the promise of renewal sparkled before her. The shoes could be cast aside, but could she face the nakedness beneath? The question lingered, heavy with potential, each beat of her heart urging her to take the first step back toward herself. The storm was rising, but she was ready to weather it. Emma stood outside the shop, her heart racing, unsure of what lay ahead. The door creaked open as she pushed it, revealing the familiar smell of leather and old wood. She had come to this place countless times, but today it felt different. The enchanting shoes waited like sirens, whispering promises of beauty and allure. However, the elder's warning echoed in her mind, reminding her that such allure could come at a high price. As she stepped inside, the bell above the door chimed lightly, and a pang of nostalgia washed over her. Each shoe on its polished shelf seemed to hold stories of joy, loss, and choices made in the heat of the moment. She hesitated, lingering in the threshold, eyes darting from one lifeless pair to another, until they rested on the pair she had grown to covet, the pair of shimmering shoes that had first captured her heart. "Back so soon?" A voice broke her reverie. It was the shopkeeper, his face lined with a knowing smile that hinted at secrets yet untold. I wanted to understand," Emma stammered, her voice barely a whisper. "These shoes, they seem to have a kind of magic." The shopkeeper nodded slowly, his expression shifting to something more serious. "Magic can be a double-edged sword, my dear. Those shoes can elevate you but might also eclipse your true self. Many have succumbed to their charm, only to lose what made them unique." His words traveled through the air like heavy mist, settling into the hollow spaces Emma had been trying to ignore. The intoxicating power of the shoes was now tinged with a sense of foreboding. She grappled with the realization that the beauty they promised was entwined with the danger of losing her identity. "Have you ever worn them?" she asked, curiosity piqued despite the growing apprehension. The shopkeeper sighed, a trace of sorrow lining his voice. "Once, long ago, I danced across enchanted floors, embraced the spotlight, and felt invincible. But when the music stopped, I found myself a ghost of the person I used to be. I traded in my authenticity for fleeting admiration. It took years to reclaim what I had lost." Emma absorbed his tale, recognizing the flicker of regret in his eyes. She was standing at the precipice, the choice laid bare before her. Would she dare to slip her feet into those beautiful shoes, surrendering to their siren call, or would she stand firm and confront her reflection? A crescendo of determination surged within her, battling the seductive whispers that beckoned her closer. She knew she needed to unearth the deeper reasons behind her yearning. What was she running from? Why did the allure of those shoes hold such a grip on her heart? As she took a step back, gazing at herself in the mirror, she saw not just the girl enamored with glamour, but the young woman hiding beneath, poised for discovery. Emma realized that this was not merely about shoes or charm, it was about reclaiming her essence. She felt a shift, a budding resolve to face whatever was to come, to weave a life that embraced her complexities instead of surrendering to illusions. And with that small yet profound realization, she took a deep breath, filling her lungs with the courage to embrace the unknown. The dim, warm lights of the store seemed to cradle Emma in a bittersweet embrace as she took a seat across from the owner, an older woman with kind eyes and an air of wisdom that permeated the air. The shelves lined with beautifully crafted shoes gleamed softly, each pair seemingly whispering stories of their past, yet none captured her attention quite like the ones she had come to confront. The silence between them was thick with unspoken truths, and as Emma settled into her chair, the enormity of her decision loomed like a storm cloud above her. "Tell me what the shoes mean to you," the owner said softly, her voice laced with genuine curiosity. Emma hesitated, searching for the right words, feeling the weight of the shoes on the shelf behind her like an anchor to her. Memories, the moments of confidence she had experienced, the fleeting highs of approval, all wrapped in the allure of those very shoes. She was torn, caught between the dazzling charm of their power and the creeping recognition that what she had experienced was an illusion. "They made me feel different," Emma finally admitted, her voice barely a whisper. like I could step into a new version of myself. When I wore them, I felt strong. But now, her voice faltered as her thoughts swirled like leaves in the wind, chaotic and unrestrained. I'm realizing it wasn't really me. It was the shoes. I was hiding behind them. The owner nodded, her gaze patient and understanding. Isn't it fascinating how we sometimes find ourselves lost in the things we believe will empower us? We think they'll give us strength, but true strength is rooted deep inside. Emma felt the weight of those words settle gently over her heart, a soothing balm against her fear. It was a concept she had stumbled upon before, but had never fully embraced until this moment. Then how do I find that strength? Emma asked, searching the owner's face for answers. The older woman leaned closer, her voice barely above a whisper now, as if sharing a precious secret. By confronting your fear, by standing tall without those shoes. Your authenticity is your true power, and that can only blossom when you strip away the things that shield you from who you genuinely are. A flicker of realization ignited within Emma. It became evident that the journey ahead was not just about letting go of her shoes. It was about embracing the raw, unvarnished version of herself, flaws and all. In that sacred space, clarity washed over her like a wave, unveiling hidden layers of her identity that had been submerged beneath the surface for so long. With a deep breath, she caught the owner watching her intently and felt an urge to express her gratitude. Thank you for helping me see this. It's terrifying to let go, but I want to try. The owner's smile broadened, illuminating her features with pride. Emma rose from her seat, her heart racing not with fear, but the exhilarating thrill of newfound freedom. She turned to face the shelf one last time, the enchanted shoes shimmering in the light. They no longer held the same allure. Instead, they represented a chapter she was prepared to close. Replacing her longing with resolve, she stepped away, setting the stage for her emergence into a true, unembellished self.